So let us talk about the family, the friends, and the faith of these three types of people. Um, the family of a sattvic person, if you will observe, they will have loving relationships. They give a lot of freedom to each other. They don't control their family members. Rajasic person, a competitive person, will believe family is everything. They are very controlling, insecure. Um, they will also have some kind of a blind faith on their family members. Even if somebody has gone and committed a sin or a murder, they will accept it because family is everything. A tamasic person has no love for family, uncaring towards their family. They have mostly have broken relationships. When it comes to the friendships of these three types of people, a sattvic person will have less friendships, but they will have deep friendships. A rajasic person, which is competitive person, will have lots of friends, but they'll be shallow friendships. A tamasic person, which is a careless person, will have fair weather friendships, friendships for pleasure, people with whom he can do things like alcohol or drugs. Mostly these people are broken, sad, depressed. These are friends of a tamas person. The faith of these three types of people. The sattvic person is a spiritual person. May not be very religious, may not have a lot of religious practices, but they're very loving. You could feel there's a spirit inside them. Um, they have a direct connection to the Lord. They don't need in between brokers. They don't need a priest to connect to the Lord. They have their own practices. They have, over the period of time, they have figured out how to stay in balance. They may have some spiritual practices that they would have picked up in different books or different orders. Rajas person, basically a competitive person, that person is fearful because it's driven by greed. They are very ritualistic. They are more religious than they are spiritual. They have a lot of do's and don'ts. They have to hide behind religion, behind a church or a temple to show how good they are. They need a priest to connect to the Lord. They don't have direct connection. A tamasic person, which is a careless person, has no faith. Um, they're broken-hearted. They are very angry with the Lord. Something has happened in their childhood or in their past lives where they've become angry with the Lord. They have no desire to pray, no desire to meditate. Only alcohol and drugs is their healer, is their God. Yeah. Bhagavad Gita describes in chapter 17, verse 17.4, uh, 17.4, 5, and 6, what kind of faith these people have. The sattvic person prays to the gods, to the demigods. The word is devas. The rajas person prays to yakshas, which is basically people who are in the position, who are in the control of power and wealth. These are yakshas. That's what they pray to. The tamas person prays to spirits and ghosts. The word is used as bhutas and pretas. So that's the faith of these three types of people. Um, and the question is, why should we try to attain the state of calm state? It's looks like when you read through this whole thing, calm state is a celebrated state. All other states are being, shown they're not as good. So why? So Bhagavad Gita describes in chapter 14, verse 16 to 18, what's the result of these three types of states. The state of sattva, it brings the fruit is pure heart. From sattva comes understanding and knowledge, and they go upwards to the higher planets. Rajas, the comparative state, fruit is suffering, misery, pain, comes greed, remain where they are, and they live on earth like planets. And tamas person, the fruit is ignorance, insensitivity, comes confusion and ignorance, sink down towards inertia, develops foolishness, madness, illusion. They sink to hellish worlds. So it says sattvic person will move to higher planets, planets which have much more awareness than Earth. And in the scriptures in India, they describe higher worlds of how those dimensions look like. Um, if you are born in Rajas and you die in Rajas, you go to Earth-like planets. And if you die in the Tamas energy, then you go to lower worlds, which are the hellish worlds. And again, I'm going to quote again from the where I explained initially in the first video about death. So in chapter 14, verse 14 to 15, it says, when you die in the sattvic energy, which is calm energy, you go to pure worlds of the wise. And that's what we all want. We want to go to higher worlds where there is more wisdom. He attains pure higher planets of teachers. He attains spotless worlds of the knower of the highest. That's why all practices are telling us to go towards a calm state. When you die in the Rajas state, Rajas energy, you're reborn among people driven by work, taken birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, born among those attached to action. So you'll constantly be working if you're born in this kind of environment, this kind of family, on the earth-like planets. If you die in the Tamasic state, you're conceived in the wombs of ignorant, takes birth in animal kingdom, born in the wombs of senseless. So these are three different energies, and there are different scripts that are possible. And the question then is, how do souls choose the scripts? Before we are born, I believe we sit along with the guides, and there are different scripts given to us. Depends on the advancement of a soul. And I believe there are three types. There are young souls, there are intermediate souls, and there are advanced souls. Advanced souls are given more options, more scripts to choose from. Intermediate souls will have little less options, and young souls don't have too many options of script that will be, because they have to come on earth multiple times, so there are not too many options they're given. They have to actually go through all the scripts and before more options are given to them. um, the other question people ask me, can a script be changed or rewritten? Yes, depends on the advancement of a soul. If a soul is very advanced, then they can, while they're in the script, while they're living on earth, they can rewrite their script along with their guides. And there are ways to rewrite your scripts. While if you're a young soul, your first few lives on earth, you don't have too many options of changing your script. Um, it's very different to read a script before you're born versus when you actually come and live the script. It's like a movie star may choose a script, uh, assuming some things, but when the movie actually goes on the floor, some of his assumptions may not come true. Maybe the director is not as good. Maybe some of his fellow actors are much more vicious than this. Or same way, a soul may choose to come in some very difficult environment, or choose a very difficult script of, let's say, being with an alcoholic father or a drug addict mother. But when actually a soul comes here, it may realize that actual experience is a lot more difficult. And sometimes souls also choose to leave very early. Souls have an option of leaving in the first year, especially the advanced ones. They have an option, if they find the script too difficult, they can exit. Yeah. So yes, there is a possibility of rewriting the script. Some people ask me, is it right to know about your past lives? It all depends on, again, the advancement of a soul. An advanced soul will always have a curiosity to know what all different lives he or she has lived, because they want to carry the wisdom from their past lives. It's like, if I've read a lot of books, I like to carry the wisdom of those books. Well, a young soul who has not had too many lives will be afraid of looking into past lives, because some of the lives we might have done things which we may not be proud of. I could be a murderer in another life, I could be a rapist in another life, and I may get confused if I see those lives. Or if I have a very difficult script in this life, I may see myself in a very happy state with very happy parents, with very happy, romantic relationship. But in this life, I may have chosen a very difficult script. So again, if you are a younger soul, it's you won't even have a curiosity to look into your past life, because you'll be afraid. And I've also had cases when people have come and said, I want to look in the past lives, and I felt they're not ready. Automatically, when they go into the state, in the trance, the guides don't show them anything. They just go through an energy expansion, they see lights, and they come back and they see no past lives, because they are young. They're not supposed to see any of the past lives. So the guides that guide us are very wise. They know, even if you go to somebody who knows past life regression, whether you will actually see the past life or not, it a lot depends on the guides that are guiding you. I can share some of my own scripts from many of my past lives. I've had many. I've had lives where my entire life was, I was born careless, I stayed careless, I had died careless. There was one lifetime I was born to a mother who uh, lost her husband in war, and the person who had killed her husband, my father, married her. So she was very angry with this man. He was a king that she married. They were basically two tribes. So the real husband, which my father was a young tribal leader who was killed, and this woman gets married to this older king. She never tells this man that it's not his child. So this child is growing up with a lot of anger of mother is passing on to him. hating his father, and eventually lives a very rotten life, is a rotten king, eventually kills his parents, kills his mother. And that was a script given to me to understand, make me understand when you're born in a very tamasic environment where a lie has been told to you. This child never knew that his father was not the father. He never knew that his mother hated his father. What happens when you live in an environment like hatred? Then I had another lifetime. I was born in a very careless environment. Then I went into a competitive environment. Then I went to a calm environment. Um, I was born to a failed musician who was a alcoholic, very abusive towards my mother. I used to often leave the house and go sit in the corner, and with the mandolins play and sing. And eventually, my fame grew. I was called by many people in their houses, and then I was called into big stages to perform. Got attracted to a lot of women who just came for my fame and money. Unhappy, couldn't find love. Eventually left all that, became a monk. Found happiness for some years. Again, realized that monk was not my life. Left that, and eventually I found peace. I became a beggar on the streets of Sicily, singing Lord's songs. So that's how I saw my life, going from a careless to a competitive to a calm state. More I will share in my another videos, but there have been so many scripts I've seen, so many combinations I've seen where you can go from one state of a competitive state to a calm, you can go from a careless state to a calm state. So many options are possible in your scripts. Um, if you want to know what state you are in this lifetime, whether you're in a calm state, competitive state, or careless state, or if you want to know what kind of people you have around you, I have a very beautiful test that I have used over the years while coaching the CEOs. I don't have an online version, it's a PDF version. I can send it to you, I can email across, you can fill it and send it back, and I can share uh, I can explain your analysis. You can write to me on my email at varun at whitelight.at. VARUN at the rate WHITELIGHT.at. If you send me an email and asking for that PDF document, I'll send it to you and you can fill it and send it to me. I hope you like this video. I feel if you could really spend some time doing some of the research, some of the quotes that I've given you, some of the verses I quoted, go read it, study it, and if you can understand this in a deep way, you can bring a lot of transformation in your life. You can bring a lot of transformation in yourself. You can bring a lot of transformation in your family, in your friends, in your companies. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.